All right, everybody. I'm back with another video. This one is going to be concerning the playfield, which everyone should have. And there's a good number of holes in this playfield. And when creating a drawing for it, it's not really going to be necessary to create standard dimensions because it's just going to be way too much. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to say make new drawing from the part. And I want my B landscape. Okay, and I'm going to pull this in. Good. Okay, so the rest of this I don't really need, so I'm going to right click or hit escape. Hitting escape is probably better. So I've got this particular view here. I just left clicked on it to highlight it, and what I really want to do is set this up so that it works with the space. Okay. So I'll get rid of that. Okay, so basically up here below the ribbon, it rotates the model view. So I want to be able to rotate this. I click on the rotate button. I go up to the drawing view angle, and I'm going to say rotating it 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 degrees, it basically changed it going counterclockwise. All right, so if I do this again, another 180 degrees, and apply. Oh, okay, it did 180 degrees based on its original orientation. Okay, so if that's the case, I need to go minus 90. There we go. So this is the bottom of the board. This is the top of the board. Actually, no, I think I was right the first time. Sorry about that, guys. Change it to 90 degrees. This is the bottom because this, if we read prints, the right-hand edge should always be the bottom. So I'm going to close this. And from this point, I'm going to go down to my scale. And let's see if we can go 1 to 5, make it a little bit bigger. I think if I go 1 to 2, that'll be way too big, right? So back down to 1 to 5. And essentially what I need to do is create a whole table. Okay, so this is going to be in conjunction using with my smart dimensions. You know, I'm going to say that this dimension is 18 inches, this dimension is 27 inches. And to start laying out these dimensions, for instance, this hole, okay, now I want to be careful not to pick the center mark. I want to make sure that I hit the edge of the hole. But if I do the traditional dimensioning for that, and I do that for each and every single hole, that's really going to be a nuisance to do. All right, so I'm going to hit escape to get out of my smart dimension tool, and I'm going to highlight these dimensions again to delete them. There we go. And what I'm going to do instead is I want to stay in the annotation tab, and I'm going to go all the way over to the right to tables. And under tables, I want to pick whole table. So with whole table selected, my property window on the left-hand side changes. And I'm going to see table position, tag order for X and Y. That's fine. And then we can call out either an X or a Y axis, or we can call out a specific origin. So the origin box is blue, highlighted blue, which means that it's ready to take on some sort of input. All right, so I'm just going to left click the bottom right hand edge. So click there. And so it says vertex 1 is my X and Y. And then the holes, I can pick edges or faces for the holes. And as far as the tagging type, they're going to be starting with A, or we can start with numbers, or we can do manual. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go along, zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to start making sure to get the holes themselves and not the center marks. Okay, you want to be very careful about that. So make sure you're getting just the holes, and you can see each time that I'm selecting a hole, it's popping up as a hole in the list. And do 2 more. Okay, once I pick that last one, you'll see the little mouse icon next to my cursor is got the little arrow on the right click. So I'm going to right click. Okay, and that should be it. So I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to hit the green check, and you'll notice that it brings me a table that I can then fit into my drawing, and that it also labels all of these. Let me make sure I move this down a little bit. So even though I clicked this one first, all right, and I went in this pattern, you can see that it did its own numbering, which is okay. So it said this one is A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's doing them in a pattern. So A1, it gives me the size of the hole, which is 0.510, because in theory I'm using a 1/2 inch hole, which is a 0.50 ball. So the hole is going to be a little bit larger so that the ball can fit inside that hole. So I've got X and Y locations. Based on all of these little tags, you can kind of float around to different sides just so that it might make a little bit more visual sense. But that's up to you. So I'm just going to place all of these on the side. Do one more. There we go. Okay, and then as far as the slot goes, right, so all of these got their X and Y coordinates from this origin point. As far as the slot, I can use traditional methods to create this. So I'm going to select from radius to radius, and that's going to give me the center to center. There's that. I'll put in the center marks in just a moment. Make sure that I put in my radius here. And once that's there, I'm going to go down to my dimension text, make sure that it's 2 times. There we go. Move it out a bit. And then, of course, getting the location. Getting location 1 and getting location 2 for the center line. And this probably should be up here. Try to keep things off the part if you can. Okay. So then the only thing that I'll have to do to finish this up is to create center marks. I'm not sure why I didn't put them in for the holes or the radius the first time. But you'll notice here that is a center mark for the whole geometry. I got to check my options here. Okay, so I want to make sure that I'm using the slot ends center marks. So I just click on that option and it puts everything in the proper perspective. I'm going to green check this, and that is it. Okay, so when you do the playfield board, make sure that you use a hole table. It's a lot easier. You can find it up here. Select all of your holes, right click, green check, pull the table out, and you guys should be all set. All right, that's it for this one.